Hi, welcome to A Place of Faith. We are so glad to have you here with us today. A Place of Faith invites and encourages all who are seeking a community to empower, support, and explore deeper understanding of spirituality and recovery of all kinds. We join together with our family and loved ones in a journey to enlightenment and recovery, supporting one another spiritually without judgment or prejudice. We're so glad to have you with us today. Today, we're going to explore the spiritual principle of non-attachment. I will be joined by Becky R. and Judy G., and this should be a wonderful service. Please join me in prayer. Higher power, we rejoice in knowing that you are with us. We rejoice in knowing that as our thoughts grow clearer, you are here, loving us, supporting us, and guiding us. We rejoice in the building of a community that we can share our spirituality, our journey with, and know that we are loved and supported. And so it is. Amen.
Give me love, give me love, give me peace on earth, give me light, give me life, keep me free from birth, give me hope, help me cope with this heavy load, trying to touch and reach you with heart and soul. Take hold of my hand, that I might understand you. Won't you please, oh, won't you give me love, give me love, give me peace on earth, give me light, give me life, keep me free from birth, give me hope, help me cope with this heavy load, trying to touch and reach you with heart and soul. My Lord. Won't you please, oh, won't you give me love, give me love, give me peace on earth, give me light, give me life, keep me free from birth now, give me hope and help me cope with this heavy load, trying to touch and reach you with heart and soul. My Lord.
This portion of our service is called Concepts for Contemplation. And the word for today is non-attachment. This is a very misunderstood word, and it gets a bad rap. It gets mixed up with the word indifference, aloofness, non-caring. However, when you look at what a lot of the spiritual leaders around the world have said for centuries about the word attachment, you'll see and hopefully contemplate on a different perspective of this word. When you understand the true meaning of non-attachment, expectations no longer rule your life. Emotions rise, but you have space. You have perspective. Emotions don't catch you and torment you every time they come up. You relate to the world as it is rather than to your concepts about it, which never bring lasting happiness. Indifference, on the other hand, means callousness, carelessness, disinterested. If you're indifferent, you're inattentive to someone, you're insensitive, and you may even be negligent. That's a big difference. And as we go further, here's what some of the spiritual leaders have said about being attached. The Dalai Lama offers this. Attachment is the origin, the root of suffering. Hence, it is the cause of all suffering. Lone Wolf says, but we don't have to sell everything we own and become monks and nuns to practice non-attachment. Practice the art of letting go. The root of all suffering is attachment, as the Buddha said. And if you go in and study Buddhism, you will see how much they get into the word attachment. Hindu, when we come to non-attachment, then we can understand the marvelous mystery of the universe, how it is intense activity and at the same time intense inner peace, how it works every moment and how it rests every moment. Consider the trees which allow the birds to perch and fly away without either inviting them to stay or desiring them never to depart. If your heart can be like this, you will be near to the way. That's the Zen statement for attachment, non-attachment. Taoism says act without expectation. Detachment is not that you should own nothing, but that nothing should own you. Islam offers this. And Eckhart Tolle is one that takes us deep, deep into that spiritual connection that we're looking for. And as you continue on your spiritual journey in recovery, you will come to this. Death is a stripping away of all that is not you. The secret of life is to die before you die. And then there is no death. You will know what it is like to live from that higher self. The scripture of Moses, the Buddha, and Jesus teach detachment, generates a spiritual lifestyle of growth, surrendering all emotional relationships, materialism, and even family is required to attain spiritual lifestyle of detachment. The path is required for the person that is seeking truth and enlightenment and who desires to walk the narrow road. Again, this is something as you grow in recovery and you get into the practice of the 11th and 12th steps, it will take you into deep spirituality where you will learn to understand what it is like to live from that higher self, to be in that connection with your higher power at all times. And as we get into the message later in today's program, we will give you some opportunities and some tools to use to start learning what it means to live with detachment.
Good morning. My name's Becky R., and I appreciate being asked to talk about the principle in action of non-attachment. And I say appreciate now because this is like, by the end of it, we don't know what's going to come out, right? Okay, so when you're thinking about non-attachment, a lot of things for me come to mind. And I've learned a lot about this in the area of raising kids. Now, my kids are not kids anymore, they're adults, and they have their own kids now. But I learned a lot about non-attachment from raising teenagers and now having relationships with the adult children that I have. And one of the ones that I learned very early on was, I really kind of wanted things to go my way because I was a single mom, and I wanted them to listen to me, and it didn't always work like that. And I wanted them, I thought that what I wanted them was what was best for them, and what I didn't realize and what I didn't put my focus on was that even though I was trying to guide them, what's best for them is in the eyes of our higher power. It's not necessarily in our eyes. And one of the lessons I learned early on in my recovery was that acceptance does not mean approval, that I could accept their lifestyle and didn't mean I had to approve of it. And for a long time, I was good with that. I was kind of what they call, I don't know if they still use this term now or not, white knuckling it, kind of holding on as a little bit, but letting go a little bit and holding on a little bit. And I saw this cartoon years ago, and I don't know if you've ever seen it. It was just a little cartoon clip out of a thing where Jesus is walking with someone, and they're talking about the footprints, right? Everybody saw the big poem of the footprints, and you see the two footprints behind, oh, Jesus, what is this? And Jesus says, well, these are when, I walked beside you and I held you, or and our higher power was with us, right? And I said, well, look to the next scene, and there's one set of footprints and then these drag marks going down the road. And the person looks over and goes, well, what's that over there? And he goes, well, that's when I drug you, So kind of, for me, there were times when I was actually being drugged because I really wasn't sure about non-attachment. As you can tell, because I'm a part of a place of faith and I love being a part of this, maybe I didn't have the best childhood. Think about that. And so a lot of these things that some people are taught when they're younger, I didn't learn, having alcoholic parents. And so I had to try to feel my way through it. So a lot of it, I drugged my way through it. And I had several instances with my teenage daughter where I had to learn that it was her life. One of them was I was a grandmother very early, and which was hard in of itself, except for after they lived with me, the child was almost 4, they decided they wanted to move out. And I was pretty much in charge of the child at this time, and this was really hard for me because I thought, she's going to be out of my house. I'm not going to know if she's going to be okay. I'm not going to know if she's going to be fed or have clean clothes or have her bath or, because I was not the mother, but yet I was the one that was there all the time because my daughter worked and she went to school and, so most of the time I had my granddaughter. And so it was really hard for me. And I was in therapy at the time, of course. And like I said, probably about my 5th year of sobriety, 5th or 6th year of sobriety, when I was just like, okay, I have got to let this go and let it be what it is. And it was hard, and I still have times where I go, okay, maybe not. And I'm glad I did at the same time because it helps me. It helped me heal. It helped me realize that even though I loved them and I didn't want them to hurt, and I didn't want them to go without, and I didn't want them to be, I didn't want to sit in my house worried about whether or not they were eating in their house. I had to let their journey be their journey. And this is how it's moved along. And even now, as my children are, my son's 40 now. Oh, Lord. Anyway, I have a different relationship with him now because now I'm not attached to his view of me or attached to what he does with his life. I love him, and I can have that connection with him. And the last couple times that I've saw him, I've actually felt really good about the relationship because I don't feel like he's trying to tell me how to live my life, and I'm pretty sure he no longer feels like I'm trying to tell him what's best for him, because we can still love each other. And like when Judy was talking earlier, it's not about letting go and being, and not giving a darn about them anymore. It's about learning to let them live their lives in love and let the higher power take care of them, because in the end, that's what we have, is the higher power to take care of us. So thank you for letting me share, and we are a place of faith. Thank you.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one.
Thank you, Jody. That was beautiful. Please join me as we begin our meditation. Relax into your seat. Breathe in slowly, and then release. Allow those beautiful words in and out Imagine your life just learning to let go, detach, release, and love deeper. Allowing all the love to flow through you into those things and those people around you that you felt the attachment for. Allowing them, their higher power, and their life, the love, releasing and detaching is all we have to do in this moment. And to remember the power you give back to yourself when you do. The energy you will have for yourself when you let go. And as we go into a moment of silence, realize that you love yourself enough to let go. You love yourself enough to let go of that no longer serves you or the other people that you love. Detaching means you give them more love. And you give yourself the gift of more love. As you bring yourself back to this room, remember, we are a work in progress. We do our best every day. Detach. Release the judgment and live in this moment now. Amen.
Thank you, Becky, for that beautiful meditation. And learning to detach is a gift we give ourselves. And during this talk, we hope to bring you some tools that will allow you to be on the road to detachment. As I mentioned in the concepts for contemplation, that the word detachment has received a bad rap because it means that you're uncaring, that you're aloof, that you're inattentive, you're not listening. But true detachment that's inspired by Zen Buddhism means deep involvement in life because there is a lack of attachment to the outcome. That is so freeing. And as we delve more into the message, there's opportunities to allow that to become a reality. As spiritual author Ron Rayburn wrote, true detachment isn't a separation from life, but the absolute freedom within your mind to explore living. How can you tell if you've become attached? You can tell that you're attached to something, a goal, a dream, another person, even feelings, if they tell you, if I don't have that, I'm not happy, or I'm not whole. If those thoughts go on and you see that, you're finding yourself with anxiety, fear, jealousy, hopelessness, sadness, disconnection, because that person doesn't call you and ask you out, or that dream didn't happen, or that situation didn't turn out the way you wanted it. You've depended on outside things to make you feel whole. How do we attach in everyday life? An attachment is part of our ego. And as you grow in your spirituality, in your recovery program, you know there's the ego and you know there's the higher power. And trying to bounce back and forth between the two of them is exhausting. And as you learn to let go, you will hear your higher power's guidance for you, so that when you're attached to your ego, you're attached to how you see yourself to be. And you're not giving yourself an opportunity to grow from your higher power. In giving you some tools to learn about detachment, you must remember that detachment is a state of mind, and that to always be threatened by attaching. That's part of your human nature. That's what you've learned all these years throughout your life. So learning to detach in some places is going to be easy for you, in other places it's going to be very, very difficult. You've been given tools on how to detach from your addiction of choice. You've been given wonderful steps. You've learned new tools. You've learned new friends. You've made new friends. So you've detached from a lot of that. And it's been wonderful. Now we're going to take into some areas where you're attached to everything. You find yourself attached to everything in your daily life. And you're not experiencing life on life's terms. One of the tools that I want to share with you is observe your mind. Step back and notice where your thoughts are taking you. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about the past? Are you in tomorrow? Are you worried about this? They're conditioned. They're conditioned patterns. And if you step back, you'll notice what they are. You'll notice what you're attached to. And if you'll journal about them, you'll get some discoveries about yourself that will amaze you. What are the thoughts? What do you wake up in the morning with? What's the thought that comes to you? Are you worried about the day? Or are you full of joy? Are you concerned with what the kids are going to do? Who's going to do this? How are you going to get there? That's a heck of a way to start your day. You jump out of bed and you're so concerned with everything else, you have no idea what it feels like to wake up and be grateful and full of joy because you're down the road. Another tool is to learn to distinguish between the voice of your ego and the actual situation. And here's an example. You go for a job interview and you don't get the job. Your ego says, that's the end of my career. My life is destroyed. And in actuality, the real reason you didn't get it is because it wasn't the right thing for you. So you're disappointed in something you never had. Your ego is telling you you're the victim, and instead your higher power is trying to say, create your own reality. Let me, your higher power, guide you. You'll find the perfect job. But anytime stuff happens that we feel rejected, we feel It's the end of the world. He didn't ask me for a second date. Oh my, I must not be good enough. Or they didn't like my ideas. What's wrong with me? Getting the picture of what your ego can say to you and allowing you to become attached to those kind of thoughts is going to give you a life of worry and fear and anxiousness and stress. And those are the things that you can change. You can change those by listening to the voice of your higher power instead of the voice of your ego. Excuse me, the clicker and I are, it's trying to control. And it's doing a good job. Another tool is embrace uncertainty. Embracing uncertainty actually provides security. You have no idea what the unknown is, and you're secure. Embracing uncertainty leads to ultimate freedom. When nothing is certain, everything is possible. I would like to repeat that. When nothing is certain, everything is possible. When you are trying to control the outcome and it doesn't come out the way you want it, one more time, you're disappointed. The words you can say to yourself are, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, this is wrong, my life is over. The only thing you can control in a situation is your attitude, how you receive what the world wants to give you. Deepak Chopra has some great words for us to ponder about non-attachment. And I'd like to read those to you. I found them very, very encouraging. Those who seek security in the exterior world chase it for a lifetime. By letting go of your attachment to the illusion of security, which is really an attachment to the known, you step into a field of all possibilities. This is where you will find true happiness, abundance, and fulfillment. Another tool for you to use, and one that has become a grounding force for so many of us, is learning to meditate. This is a fantastic step to practice, to step back from your mind and observe what's going on. It's another way of observing your mind and allowing it to go blank and go deep within and learning to listen. In the silence, you will learn so much about yourself, but you'll learn to listen to that higher voice. Learning to be living in the present. This is another opportunity to detach. Right now, while the COVID-19 pandemic has been going on, this is something that my higher power has taken me on a journey through, is learning to live in the present. And it is so freeing. It is freeing to let go of the past. Don't concern yourself about tomorrow, because we get lost there and we lose the valuable, precious moments, the energy that we could be fulfilling here in the present. When you are growing in detachment, you will become healthier, happier. Your life will become a life of joy. You will find yourself handling everyday situations with a sense of peace. You flow with life instead of resisting it. And you will find that life is with ease and grace. You will know, at least this is something I have learned, that we will know exactly how to handle situations. We will know what we need to say and what we need to do, because we've learned to live in the present. And living in the present is probably the biggest gift of non-attachment. The biggest. It takes time to learn that. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself with all the tools we have shared with you today. Because, again, it is a process. You have been attached to so many things for so long that learning to let go of them, maybe one by one, it is freeing. But it takes gentleness within yourself and gentleness with your time. I'd like to leave with you. Don't fight the flow. The moment is now, is like a river carrying you forward, ever changing and ever moving. You either flow with the moment or reject it and fight it, but that doesn't stop the flow. It only determines your experience of it. Thank you. The tools that we've brought to you today are to enrich your life, and may they do that as you listen to the voice within, to your higher power, and so it is.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision, and no one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision right here and now. Love, it is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. And love is my decision. And no one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now. It's my decision right here and now.
I want to especially thank Jody for the amazing music today. He's been with us this whole videotaping adventure that we've shared, and just an amazing gift is our Jody Begley. So I definitely wanted to acknowledge him. We here at A Place of Faith would love to work with you and your organization. If you would rather have someone come in and work with your clientele, your patients, your residents on spiritual growth and development, please let us know. You can contact us by email at aplaceoffaith@zohomail.com, and I believe you can see that on your screen. You can reach us on Facebook. You can email us at that address to get in contact with us. We want to hear your feedback. We appreciate you liking and sharing these videos with anyone and everyone who might benefit from it. We also thank you for your continued support. Please send your tithes and offering for or checks to Unity of El Cajon, 311 Highland Drive, El Cajon, California, 92020. Or you can go to the website and hit the donate button. It's very safe. You can call in with credit card numbers to the Unity El Cajon office. Just let them know that your gifts are to support and help a place of faith. We also want to share with you opportunities to be of service. The food bank here in El Cajon is being run through the Salvation Army, and they are very much interested in donations of food or money. The blood bank is looking for blood, plasma, and they're also trying to find people who have had and recovered from COVID-19. They're doing research on antibodies. So if you can fill any of those needs, it's a great way to be of service and to make a difference. Stand by for news of reopening when we do reopen and we are able to actually be together here in this beautiful sanctuary. Our new time will be 12 noon instead of 2 p.m. And we'll give you plenty of warning in that. We want to make sure everyone is safe. And now if you would please join me with St. Francis' prayer. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I might not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life.